Alright. We are now live. Had to quickly restart the broadcast because apparently, YouTube's still not working. So, we're gonna be playing some good old Minecraft today. The NPM server. Because, well, there's no server like the NPM server. Because very few people actually do Bedrock SMPs. Alright. What was I doing? Ah, yes. I've now got potions of strength 2. Hold on. Strength. Let's see. I can either make it longer or stronger. I made it stronger, so... You know what? Let's just put these in here. Put these in and make them longer. So, hold on. Okay, so I'm actually making these ones stronger. Oh, hello, Harry. How are you, friend? I'm guessing it's now working on YouTube. It wasn't working before, so... Good afternoon. How are you today? I'm doing good today, random person. Been doing quite a bit on the what's it called? Noobs Play Minecraft SMP. And I must say, one of the members has broken... Look who it is. What? Hey, at least it's not RJ this time. Oh, hey, JC. Man, we've actually got 3 viewers. I think that's 3 viewers only on Twitch as well. So if we can keep this up for the next month, I will have affiliate. That's never gonna happen. Tis me, not as trash mic guy. Yes. Yes, it is you. Tis is you. I can reach you. Good. Okay. Well, now what to do? You have a trash mic? Your mic's not that bad, JC. So, off camera, quite a few things happened. So, after I think you saw it if you watched last stream, I found a stronghold. It is horrible. It's a horrible mic. It's not that bad. Alright. So, yeah, last stream, I believe, if you were able to see it, I found a stronghold and I found the the end portal. Ouch. Hey! Hey, that's not very nice! Oh, look how cute the guys are. Ow, but they hurt quite a bit. Alright, now I've got to remember where the nether portal was. Me is at your neighbor's house. Ah, you're over at Anna's. Alright, cool. Meanwhile, I'm over here streaming. If you would like to come up, a few people are over. I believe Katie is over right now, as well as Callie. That's about all I know that are currently over. Although I don't know if Callie's still here. Anyways, yeah. Ah, it must be this way. It must be this way. Maybe? I don't know. Why do you guys have all the fun? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, JC? Where is it? Hey, buffers! Yes, buffers are annoying. Now, the lava reminds me of the time my brother placed lava above him in the nether and lost all his stuff into the flame. Well, let's see. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. So after I found the portal last stream, some things went down. When I say some things, I mean quite a bit of things. You sometimes buffer, I wish I could fix that, but I really don't know how at this current moment. Anyways, what was I saying? Yes, so after last stream, I made a nether portal at the what? Stream elements. I think I think Stream Elements is getting itself confused. Anyways, basically what happened is I built another portal and then I was going to go align it, and then I fell into lava and lost all of my good stuff. Now today, that happened again, but this time I survived and didn't lose any of my stuff. But I'm nearly back to where I originally was. I mean, I've got my Fortune 3 diamond pickaxe and Silk Touch pickaxe, iron pickaxe, so we good there. Okay, seriously, where is it? I can't remember the nether portal location. Shoot. Watching Avatar The Last Airbender. Oh, nice. I've never seen that. So, but still, enjoy it. That's the other nether. That's the nether portal. Where am I going? Yes, yes, I remember that. The glitched lava. Even when updated, did absolutely nothing. Yum, 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 yum. Okay. Where's the hole I came from? You're yes. Yes, you are watching me. You are currently helping me get affiliate, which is nice. Because once I get affiliate, a lot of new things unlock for the channel, including, I believe, bit donations. Yo, what the heck? Ow, that hurt. Yo, what the heck is this? Somebody's been doing things here. I'm going to a party. See you later. Alright, see you, JC. Is this it? Could this be it? Maybe, maybe not, probably not. I don't remember doing any of this. Oh, wait a second. This might have actually been me. Thing is, I don't know currently. Yep, this was definitely me. Okay, so what I can remember is my X was actually greater. So it was like, my X was around like 207 or something. Oh, hold on. And my Y was higher as well. It was actually like right around here. My Y. So, though I decided to go 133. Is this it? No. Dang it. I'm trying to remember where I came from. That could have been bad. Hey, so weird thing. I have an ear infection, so now everything in my left ear sounds one note lower, so it sounds kind of weird with both earbuds. Oof. Oh, I hope that gets better, and, I don't know why I needed to know that, but okay. Come on, where do I go? I don't remember where I went. Where's my nether portal? To the end portal. Alright, I'm just gonna start walking up this way. Because I remember my... no enough. Yeah, I'll take this. Moderately amusing facts. Well, alrighty then. Alright. Alright. Now to drop down, grab a bunch of glowstone. And could this be it? Could it? I don't think it is, but it could be. It's not. So I remember my Z was like 83. I don't know where I am. And I'm already low on food. Truth or dare? What? Truth? What? Wait a second. I should be saying, forcing you guys not to ask me questions, saying wait for the Q&A when I hit 100 followers. But I'm not that kind of person, so ask ahead. Wait, wasn't I just here? I'm lost. I am lost. I don't know where my portal is. Where, oh, at least where that one portal is. Okay, I was at 73 when I came out of it. And... what was your answer? I missed it. I said truth. Okay, I think it's this way? Maybe? It came out of a wall somewhere. I came out of a wall at X of 103, so... Alright. It must be this way. Alright, seriously, where am I? Where is it? I need to find that portal. What was the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to you? Well, I usually don't remember embarrassing things, so I don't know. Because in my mind, it's best to forget. Okay. I might just have to start digging a new hole. First I need more food. Then truth or dare? What are you talking about? I just answered. Alright, I gotta get back to the portal. I don't know where the other portal is, so whoop-de-doo. I should make a new pickaxe as well. There. Food, finally. Oh. Cool. Oh. And off to the nether. Woo, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Come on. Where is it? I ended up. No, that's not how truth or dare works. You can't just ask me infinite questions. I now have to ask you one. There, okay, there's the portal that I found after I came back from through the other portal. So I found this portal. Alright, silk touch. Oh boy. Well, fine. Truth. Again. Did I come out of the hole, like, over here? Because I came out at 73. The roof, what? Okay, I'm getting confused now. Who is your least favorite person who regularly watches your stream? Ooh, I don't know. I mean, there was RJ last night who just continuously talked about something like, your sins will be something about sins and the elders watching, which I didn't understand. So, if RJ watched regularly, I would say he would be the most confusing, but least favorite, I honestly don't know. Yeah, that was really weird. I mean, and Hank the Tank here was able to experience it firsthand with me as we played games together. There. Oh, the answer is obviously me. I thought that was clear. What are you talking about? Give you a dare. I don't know. You really put me on the spot. Lots of people like to do that, and I don't know why. Dang it. You know what? I probably am just gonna walk in the overworld to find it, because that walk will be a lot easier than digging through the nether for it. Alright, there. I know, I'm trying to think. You just told me to give you one, and, well, I wasn't expecting that. I dare you. Oh, random person just dared you. Jeez. Although I think the problem is, I think he already does 90% of that, so... Alright. Nom 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 nom. Alright. I needed a pickaxe. That's right. Pickaxe, pickaxe. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And boom, pickaxe. Well. Yeah. Yeah. Except you don't have Twitch. Well then. I dare you to get... Oh, now he's dared you to get Twitch. That's... Yeah. Yeah, I honestly don't have any dares because I am horrible at thinking on the spot. I wonder if wandering traders sell lava buckets. Like, how crazy would that be? Oh, I know a good dare. I just thought of one. This will take a while. Complete FNAF Ultimate Custom Night. Like 50-20 or whatever it is. Like, all 50 characters on level 20. You need to complete it now. What is everyone's favorite word? First I got Twitch. Nice. My favorite word? That is a hard one. I will say that. You're a big fan of the word deforestation? Alright, well I don't know what that means, but okay. Favorite word. Yeah, I really don't know. Okay, I'm starting to get some lag. Like, wait, what's my... Is there any way I can see my FPS? I don't think so. But I'm getting some lag now. The act of throwing someone out of a window. You like the word katang? I really don't know. That is actually a fairly difficult one for me to answer, and I don't know why. You know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do this. My favorite word? Minecraft. It's funny because... it's funny, when you search it up in dictionary.com, it actually comes up with, first the, ship, a ship that, sets mines in the water or disables them. I can't remember which one it does. And then you've got the second one. You've got the second dictionary of it. Dictionary reference, whatever it is, of Minecraft. And it talks about the video game. So that's something I found funny. Oh, I'm so close, but yet so far. I don't even have a shield on me. Fantastic. Okay. That's a jungle. I think I still need to go straight. Yeah, I recognize this area. Oh, there's my boat. It's time to go across. I recommend getting a horse. I do have one, but it's at the opposite nether portal that I couldn't find for the life of me. Anna's favor, what? Yum, 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 yum. Munch, 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 munch. Ah, don't hit me. I should really sleep. But screw that. What's its name? I haven't given it a name. Run. Where is it? Hey, it's going to be over here now. You think you can hit me? Is there 3? There's 3 now. This is unfair. You cannot defeat me. It's mass genocide. What? Oh gosh, there's 4 now. Okay. Oh wait, Anna's favorite word is mashed. No, that's 2 words. That's 2 words. It can only be one. Ouch, that hurts. I will try tomorrow if you join me and film it. What? What do you mean what are you talking about? Ah! There you are. Alright, gotta keep going. Go, go, go. I believe it's just over this mountain. And the phantoms are back after me. Beating 50-20 mode. Oh. I did not realize that there was a ravine here. Thankfully, there's a way out right here. I gotta go quicker. There's 3 after me. I gotta go quicker. No. Okay, eat. I love how I just keep falling into things. Wait, what? It's dead. Okay, they're both up there. Oh no, there's 3 again. Great. Go quicker. Imagine if they introduced invasive species into Minecraft. Okay, how many are after me now? Okay, there's 1 up there. And there's 2. Okay, there's 2. Where'd you come from? I don't remember looking at any Endermen. Where? Dang it. Shoot. This is reminding me of the night I got my first ever death on this server. It was horrifying. No! Oh no. Oh, phew. I was like over here, right? Near-death experience caught on camera. Dude, guess what? Guess what? You've now got even more clickbait. Dead person falls from cliff. Where did I fall? I remember seeing lights in the distance. And I knew it was where I was heading for, but I don't know where that was. Oh, there's a duel going on behind me, a sniper duel. Okay. Where do I go? Where do I go? Oh no, wait, is it over here? There it is. I found my stuff. Jeez, I was close. Okay. Pick up everything. Okay, organize inventory. Okay. There. Okay, yeah, I was missing that and this. Are you serious? No. Okay, and oh great, I'm down to 7 levels now. That's upsetting. At least, though, I've got my diamond pickaxe to— Ouch! Hey, screw you, too! Man, I don't know why, but I never see spider jockeys anymore. Yoink. Alright, off to the village I go! Because this place is very dangerous. There. My parents! They still await me! Alright, down I go. Oh! Oh, I could do it right now. Well, I have a cold and an ear infection, and I'm going to the hospital at 9 a.m. tomorrow, so I'm gonna catch some Z's. See you later. Alright, see ya, man. I hope that the infection, you get rid of the infection. You know what? There! The centerpiece. I don't know if I want to do it now, or, you know what? Oh, I love that sound. Now, just don't fall in. That's all I have to do. Don't fall in. Okay. Alright, diamond pick. I'm taking antibiotics, so I should be fine within a week. Ah, that's good to hear. Ow! What hit me? Nothing? Okay, hold on. 2837949. Okay, I might be kicked here. Minecraft random. Where is it? Portal calculator. Alright. 2837949. 2837949. 355 119. Goodbye. Yeah. Oh. Okay, where am I? What? Okay. 2837949. Oh wait, no. 355 119. Hey, what was it again? 355 119. Okay, 355 119. Oh! Yeah. Yeah, so I tried doing it once. This was the result. That's how I lost all my good stuff. Yep, there's the platform that he tried building. Alright, let's get the obsidian. Yeah, it broke. Good. And now comes the slow process of mining the obsidian. Alright. So I've currently got my stream pulled up on my phone, and I'm watching it to see how much of a delay I have. I have concluded I have around a 5 to 6 second delay. Oh, there we go. Okay, and I've got my netherrack here. Oh, yeah. That could be a problem. Hold on, let's see. I need... Okay, everything I don't have. Ah, shoot. Where's a ghast when you need one? There's a ghast! You know what? Fishing rod, go! Oh! Come on. Don't mind me, I'm just trying to fish a ghast. Oh, look, there's a second one. Okay. Is there any over here? No. Num 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 num. Come on. Ugh. It can't reach. Hey. Hey, buddy. Get over here. I need you. I need you. You need to light my portal. Okay, never mind. Okay, so I've got a portal here. Now I need to go to 303.33, so that way. Oh, I missed an obsidian. A block of obsidianite. That could have been bad. Ish. Alright. Dang it. Oh. Time to start filling this in. Okay. Let's go 33.103. 3031, no, 30, no, 10333, that's it. Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 1. Alright, you know what? Let's head down a little. Oh, this is gonna be far. Alright, well, just enjoy the nether music as I slowly go. Yes, it's nice music. Now I'm realizing the message from Hank was him saying goodbye, as in, not to a random person, but as in he's also leaving the stream. Woo. That could have been bad. I'm almost there. I can feel it. By almost, I mean not even close. You know what? Okay. Alright, I'm at the perfect level now. Come on, there we go. Oh wait. 103's here. Now to 33. Eat some berries. Eat some berries. And continue on. Great. Oh, great. No, I can't. I'm not wasting that. Fantastic. Alright, up this way. And then I just realized tomorrow's Sunday, not Saturday. Today's Saturday. Which is annoying because that means after then I have school. just so I don't lose the pickaxe. There. Now in I go. Sweet. Looks like that dude's doing well. Stick. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Okay. What? Why am I all of a sudden just losing frames? There. No, don't. Oh my gosh, he did, didn't he? XP costs 2 or 12. I'll go with 2. And then I need more sticks. Okay, let's just throw all of this in here because I don't need any of it. Wait, where'd this second water bucket come from? I don't remember. I need stick. No, I don't need stick. I need sticks. Well, back through I go. Oh, I've got to get rid of the cursed fire now. Oh, I feel like I had something in my throat. Oh well. Alright. Sweet. Nope. And continue mining. I honestly don't know when I should go and fight the Ender Dragon. I mean, I want people to help me, but I don't know if anybody will. Oh yeah, I need to get my infinity bow. My infinity bow back from my friend. He's broken the stealing rule of the server many times, but yet somehow I've still forgiven him. At forgiveness ends. Sweet. Ah, this is nice. Good old tunnel. Food. And with the ceiling. And now time to make the path a little more proper. There we go. Yeah, I know, I made a mistake. Duh. That little one's after me. Baby zombie's still scarier, though. More food, and then continue placing. Got tons of netherrack, but I'll probably still run out. Alright. And the netherrack. Okay. That was kind of horrifying, because not only did the gas fireball hit over here, but there are also like sirens and things going off other way. Alright, I need a gas tier, so come at me! Excuse me? Yeah, there's my gas tier. I'm going to be making potions of regen for the big Ender Dragon fight. It's going to break in 3, 2, 1. Oh, it didn't break. Well. There. Alright, now here. Yeah, I have only got 3 stacks left. That's not going to be enough. Considering I use about more than a stack. Oh, what was that alert about? Hand grenade. Wait, is that what it just said? Yeah, hand grenade. Oh, of course. I know. I think I know who that is. I might. Totally, I might. Alright, anyways. Continue building. No, what the heck was that? I just saw. And this is my last stack. I can see. And no, and I think I know who you are. Hank Grenade. Or Hank the Tank, and yeah. Alright, you know what? I need more! Like in an inventory full of, netherrack was not enough. 4 is not enough. But yeah, thank you for the follow anyways. I believe that makes the follower count now 92. Which means we are only 8 away from 100. So let's go! Hey! Alright, I need more netherrack and a new pickaxe. Alright, back to the overworlds. First I must check, do I actually have any, like literally any netherrack left? No, I don't. Oh, iron. That's not enough iron. And iron pickaxe. You know what? I'm just going to take the... Wait, why do I have a crafting table? Okay. And this way. I just realized I'm going to have to start making signs saying, okay, this way leads to the end portal, and this way leads somewhere else. Speaking of which, I need the members of this server to join, to actually play. Because if you did not know, I can actually see like logs of who joins and who doesn't, or no, just who joins. I can see when they connect and when they disconnect. And that's it. So, that means I've checked it. The only people I've seen join in the past week are my friend Vincent and me. That's it. I haven't seen anything else, which is a problem considering the fact that this is supposed to be this is an SMP, not just a single player world. I mean, hey, I invited Rapal, who was supposedly going to be online most of the time. But I don't believe that anymore because he's never online. Anyways, lots of digging. Also, you can request songs if you're on Twitch. People don't know that apparently. You can actually request songs. If you go into the cards below the stream, you'll see something that tells you how to request songs. Okay. Sweet. What was I saying? Yeah, anyway, so I believe it is correct on how you request songs, but I might have to update it. I can't remember anymore. Okay. Oh, they say there's a stairway to heaven. Thing is, the stairway's in hell, so... This is where I need to be really careful. Because if I don't do it correctly, I fall into a pit of death. And this ain't like Element and Animation's pit of death. No, 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 no. This is a true pit of death. Which means it needs guardrails. Which is just netherrack. Alright. Slowly going down. Slowly but surely I will make it. Anyways, continuing on. And I don't have enough to continue it. Oh, it broke. Well, all the way back I go then. Yeah, further. It's funny. There are many things in Minecraft that are finite. But 90% of everything is infinite. Here are some examples of things that are finite. Dirt. Grass. Netherrack. Lava. Diamond. I'm trying to think of more. Because I told you, most things in Minecraft are infinite. Just keep running. Yes. Where is it? I need my flint and steel. Seriously. Do I not have a flint and steel? I thought I did. Well. Flint and steel. Back to the nether. Yes, just keep running. Just keep running. Instead of swimming, it's running. Because water can't be placed in the nether. But ice can. But if it melts, it does nothing. Alright. Up, 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 up. Hey, and off I go. Just keep running. Ooh, quartz. Yep, back to running. Quartz is useful, especially with redstone, because it can make comparators. Back to running. Nom 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 nom. Ooh. Hello, Mr. Guest. Would you like to die today? Ow! Hey! Hey! That was not very nice. I can't go get it. No. Would you rather have infinite money? What? Or infinite wisdom? I would have infinite wisdom, because then I could make myself infinite money. Oh wait, does it spawn me in the stone brick at first? I think it does. Shoot! Whoops! I was not meant to do that. Oh no. Well, looks like I'm taking on the Ender Dragon. Yeah. Okay. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Okay, it's gone. Whoops! You know what? I need to kill an Enderman. It'll make things easier on me. If it has an Ender Pearl, of course. Like, okay, there. I've got my escape plans. Well, still, infinite wisdom. That's definitely a lot better than infinite money. Because money corrupts the brain. Come on, come on, come on. Are you serious? Okay, stand in the middle here. And just look at Enderman all around. This. Dang it! Oh no. Dang it! Oh, thank goodness those chunks are unloaded though. Okay. Well, looks like I'm going for the Ender Dragon. But first I need to head back to base and get the what's it called? Get supplies to kill the Ender Dragon. So a bow, arrows, pumpkin. What else do I need? I'm trying to think. So armor, pumpkin, sword, arrows, bow. You know what? I might just use a crossbow. It could be better. Plus, I've already got a crossbow, so it probably will be better. Alright, what else do I need? Food. And... oh, whoops. That was an accident. Alright, excuse me for a moment. So who's ready to fight the Ender Dragon? What else? There. Okay, iron, crossbow. Now I need arrows. Arrows, shoot. Do I not have arrows? Oh no. Okay, potions. More potions. You know what? The potion of slow falling will be so useful. Okay. Okay, helmet, chest plate, and boots. And then the rest can be turned back into iron blocks. Although I still need a sword, so. Although, how many diamonds do I have? Oh boy. This could be the day where I gain it all or lose it all. I hope I gain it all and not lose it all. But now I need arrows. What? Okay, my W wasn't working for some reason. Oh, feather. Flint. I need more feathers. Another feather. At least it does use flint, right? Yeah, it does. Okay. Oh, where's my shield? Okay, I need a water bucket. And golden apples. I am going all out for this fight, if you can't tell. What else? What else? Normal food is going to be very useful. You know what? Let's just get a bunch of raw stuff, cook it up, and that'll be food. Sweet, now where is my smoker? I don't know where I put it. Okay. Yeah, accident. Right, there. So then I'll put the food here. Instant healing. Oh, the potion's right here. There we go. This is gonna be fine. Alright, is this all I need? Am I sure I don't need anything else? Ender Pearl. That'll be useful in case I need a quick escape. No, not Netherrack. Dirt! Dirt is best. Alright, I need you know what? No, I don't need shovel. Let's go! To the end! To the end! To the end! Let's kill this Ender Dragon. Let's win this! I just realized I won't be able to pick up any of my stuff. Maybe I should grab a chest. Yeah, maybe. To the end! Yes! I see the portal that leads to the other portal. You know what? I'm gonna quickly grab a chest. Let's grab 2 things of wood and grab a chest. I'll get a bunch there. Then over here, I've got a crafting table. Perfect. Let's do this thing. Charge! Did it. Ah! I forgot a pumpkin. Okay, there's my dead body. Okay, I only care about the pickaxes really. Okay! No! He broke my chest. Dang it! Okay. Change of plans. Dang it! I just got it. There. Okay. Okay, that was amazing. Ouch. Okay, grab the next one. Okay. Dude, this dude's going off. Okay. That leaves a few more crystals left. Alright, there must be... I think there's one on this tower. Yeah, there is. Dang it! Great. Alright, looks like I'm going in guns blazing. Okay. Water. Dang it! Good news? The portal's right here, so I die, I can get back into the action almost immediately. Everybody else is missing out. And I mean, they are truly missing out. Okay. My stuff is spread out far and wide. Okay, wait, I'm missing something. Ouch. There, okay. You know what? It's time to do this like a pro. You think you can get me to give up that easily? You can think. You can think again. I'm so close. Okay. Oh no! He killed me again with his little fireball. The dude does not give. Doesn't just. The dude just infinitely uses fireballs. What the heck? Oh, to battle! The man's upset I've destroyed so many of his crystals. The thing is, I have infinite lives, and I'm not as strong. So, just to make him feel bad. Okay, armor, inventory check, grab everything. Okay. Alright. Quickly just hide here. Water bucket there. Food here. Ender pearls here. Potion of healing there. And slow falling there. Okay, time to get this one. Where is he first off? Great. I fell from a high place that time. It'll all be worth it when it's over. Go, go, go! Dude. Dude, that's spawn camping. You can't do that. You can't kill me when I'm running. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, yeah. Food there, potion there. Pickaxe goes there, sword goes there. Okay. Potion of strength. Where's my potion of slow falling? There. And then ender pearl. Okay. Got it. Oh shoot, that's right. That needs to be there. No. There. I'm almost there. Okay, I got too close. I thought I was still a good enough distance away. To the end! Oh, no. Oh, no. I died on top of a pillar. Okay, well, I can make a bucket, grab some water, and head on back. I clearly prepared for this, not knowing that I was preparing for this. It's crazy to think that I did a lot of this. I did a lot of stuff to prepare for a lot of stuff. Okay, let's just quickly grab everything on the ground. Oh, my other water bucket fell. That's good. Okay, potion of healing. There. Great. I hate spawn campers. What? Dude, are you serious? Okay, now I'm getting a little annoyed. Oh, stop swimming and go down. I need the elytra! I want to fly everywhere I go! That leaves the problem of the fact that my stuff is currently sat at atop of a tower. And wait, one of my buckets is empty? What the heck? Well... Bro! Okay. Okay, now I'm upset. He's like literally... The Ender Dragon is like every player I've ever met on a game where it's a free-for-all. He's like that... No! No! There aren't supposed to be two! No, that's not supposed to be real. No! No! Nuh-uh! No way, Jose! I am not allowing two Ender Dragons here. What the heck? Come on. Why are there two Ender Dragons? One of them's coming for me. Oh, okay. Regen. And run. Just quit. Just run. It's double the threat. The threat has doubled. I repeat, the threat has now doubled. I don't like this. I really don't like this anymore. But whether I like it or not, I must defeat them all. Oh shoot. No, he didn't give me his Ender Pearl. Okay. Double the threat, double the fun. That's what I'm going for. Come on. Okay, pickaxe. No, where's my Silk Touch? Dang it, I just lost my Silk Touch pickaxe, didn't I? Go, go, go! Okay. Are all the towers? No, there's one left. Oh, there's one left. Wait, where's my Silk Touch pick? I don't think it... I remember grabbing it. It wasn't at the top of the tower. Great. It's gone. It's gone. All I can do now is fight. Fight until the very end. Great! That's just great. I swear, if there's 3 Ender Dragons... I mean, honestly, anything is now possible because there are 2 Ender Dragons. Why aren't there 2 Ender Dragons? I want to know. There's one. Wait. Oh no! I thought the other one despawned, not despawned. Okay. Clothes on. Water bucket ready at the ready. Golden apple. Food. Instant healing, go. More instant healing, go. Okay. I'm ready. I've prepared for this my entire... No! No, my water's all gone. Ugh. Well, if... Shoot. Here's to the 3rd bucket. Attack! They're trying to get me to rage quit. I will not rage quit until they are dead. Then I will happily rage quit. Okay. Sword, water bucket. Okay. Instant healing. Food there. Okay, I need to get back up. might just use a command to kill one of them because there are not supposed to be two here, but there are, so I just accepted fate. Of course, when everybody leaves the stream, the craziest things happen. Of course. I mean, but of course, people... And I bet the video for this is going to get corrupted. Yep, there's the second one. Okay. Chest plate. Bucket. No. Okay. I must go quick. Come on. Okay. There, got it. Now I wait. Okay, potion of instant healing 2, potion of strength, potion of regen. Come at me, I am a beast. Oh, look at that damage! Oh, shit. Dang it. Food. There. Okay. Okay, things are getting real intense now. Okay, so that's a quick way to get rid of the, I killed one! Dang it! I killed one! I killed one! Oh my gosh! I might sound like a madman right now, but I killed an Ender Dragon! Now to take on the second one. Oh, and the portal opened up. I'm going crazy if you cannot tell. Oh, so much experience. Okay. They called me a madman. Actually, nobody actually called me a madman. But still, it just sounds cool for the grand scheme of things right now. Okay, instant health, I have none left. Okay, golden apple, go. Okay. No! Okay. The man's insane! I need to wait for him to get back over here. God. Oh. No! No! You don't fly away now! Come back down here! I killed it! I killed the Ender Dragon! A second Oh my gosh! No way did I just do that. I just did it. Oh, great, but the Ender Dragon egg doesn't respawn. You know, I would love to keep this 100% survival, but I think I'm going to make a rule on this server where if you kill the Ender Dragon, you will get an Ender Dragon egg. So, oh my, oh, everything has gone sore. All right, well, I'll be right back. I need to go do a few things and. Yeah, sure. Oh, wait. I forgot I could... To unmute these. Alright. Absolute insanity. But, let's get back to the game. Now, as I said, this is supposed to be 100% survival. But, because of the fact that the Ender Dragon egg is literally destroyed by another Ender Dragon, I'm gonna do this. Wait. What is it called, anyways? The Ender Egg? Yeah. And because I killed 2. If you have proof that you successfully killed an Ender Dragon on this server, then I will give the person the egg. But because of the fact that I defeated 2 Ender Dragons and the original egg was lost. Oh. Okay. I just want an Ender Pearl. I'm still freaking out over the fact that I killed 2 Ender Dragons at the same time. But, hey, it's whatever. Come on, give me your Ender Pearls. Oh my gosh, there we go. And there it is. Wait, that's one of them. Where's the second one? There you are. Wait, they're that close in this? They're that close in this version of Minecraft? Oh, geez, I could build out there. But I'm not going to. They're less than 64 chunks away, because that is my current render distance. I don't think you can actually respawn the Ender Dragon in this version of Minecraft. Now that I think about it. Okay, why is this dude mad at me? I probably accidentally looked at him while building this. Hey! I did it! Oh, I forgot how horrible that noise is in this edition of Minecraft. Oh, okay. I'm already seeing 2 end cities. They look to be small ones, so there's probably not much on them. Oh, I'm still psyched about the fact that I killed 2 Ender Dragons. Yeah, that's right. And I'm gonna get shulker boxes. Ooh, I forgot about that. Shulker boxes, here I come. Okay. Bad idea, bad idea. Jeez. No. Ah, great. Ah, that hurts. These dudes can shoot without having to actually open themselves? Dude's mad. You know what? No. I'm gonna travel the correct way in Minecraft. Water. You know what? Hit me. Okay, stay clear. Okay, yep, this is what I came for. I can go back. Respiration 3, Blast Protection 4. Yes! Blast Protection 4 met. This is what I came here for. And I can now make a shulker box. I'll make one right now, actually. I can take 2 chests. Oh, but I don't have any wood, do I? No, I don't. I'll still take the chests. And if I had wood, I would make the shulker boxes. What's this have? Looting 3, Silk Touch 1. I'm at home. And because I love the rods in this game. There. And out. Alright, I see another one over here. And the way home, so that's good. But what I want to find is oh, I see another one back there. That could have a ship. Now that I've said that it could have a ship, you probably know what I'm aiming for. Although it was probably pretty obvious the first time. Alright. Oh yes, I need to remove this so I can see my chat. Which nobody has talked in, so... There we go. That's how you do it. You run in, hit them a bunch, run out. And then when you get into one of these rooms, you let them hit you. After you, of course, you take their end rods. There. And then you go after them as best as you can without dying. Efficiency 4! Silk Touch. Oh, I got my Silk Touch pickaxe back! Diamond. Gold. Fire Protection 3. This has... Excuse me for a moment while I just quickly switch these out. What does this have? Blast Protection 3? Okay. Oh, excuse me for a moment. That hurt. Alright. So that can go in there. I got my Silk Touch pickaxe back! Woohoo! Alright, if I have to, I'll go for it. Grab it again. Fortune. Bro. You know what? Neither of these shovels are good. Although, hold on. These have... yeah. Great. I need to keep all of these off me for a moment as I get ready to float down. Ah, great. No. Stop looking at me. Alright, throw that off. Yeah, I don't need that. Gold is useful for potions and stuff. And potions are going to be really needed for later down. These shovels are absolute trash, so I don't need my old boots. I'll have an iron farm, so... Oh! Perfect. Oi, you think that's okay? It's not. Stop it. Get some help. Dang it! I don't have any projectiles that I can use, so. No. Alright. Oh, that hurt. There. Thank you for the help. Great. All right. Whoa, what the heck? Alright. Tons of end rods again. And down I go. You know, I could use some chorus fruit. Okay, so... I need to figure out where I just saw it. There. Alright. Current low chords are negative 603, 133, 1331. Perfect. Now, chorus fruit will be my friend as it will allow me to eat. It is my food source now. Because, well, as you can see, I don't have any food left on me because of the battle with the Ender Dragons. I thought he angered him. Okay, there's one this way. Dirt. Sweet. It'll teleport me randomly, but at least it gets the job done. In fact, let's so negative 568 1437. Uh, 1437. There. Now, if I get lost, I now know the chords of where I need to go. I'm using the bedrock-only features to their greatest potential. Bridging the end. Okay, so I did hit him. Did he just... I'm not gonna question it. Alright. Bad news. I'm not seeing a ship. Darn. Well, at least I found another one of these. I have 8. I can make 4 shulker boxes. Oh, excuse me for a moment. Alright, I'm back. Alright, that's my test if I've disconnected or not. If I've disconnected from the game, from the server, the block won't have a breaking animation. Oh look, it's 2006! Alright. I just don't trust myself. Alright. Another end city to raid. Although they're called end cities, but they're not really cities. Okay, I've seen one. It's seen me. Nothing in here. Dang it. Ooh, cool banners. Okay, I'm fine with that. Come on. What the heck? Sir, are you alright? Alright. So there's that one over there that I just raided. And thankfully there's that there, so I know I can get back home. Well, you know what? I think... Yeah, I did come from there. Where is the entrance? There it is. Well, that's the end of the stream here. I hope you all enjoyed the stream. I definitely enjoyed it, especially finding those 2 Ender Dragons. Yeah, that was a bit crazy. But if you're on Twitch and you just stick around a little bit longer, we are going to go raid somebody. Alright. I'm thinking this person. Don't know what exactly they do. Okay, never mind. Looks like they're ending their stream. Okay, never mind. Looks like they're continuing it. Oh, we're gonna go raid this person. And, well, I hope you all enjoyed the stream, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
You fuck your mother, bitch.
No, mother, bitch you.